Hi, welcome to February's New Model Monday Live with Bachmann Trains. I'm Marketing Manager Matt Stern, and joining me as always is Tyler Haney, our Product Development Manager.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
We've got a good show in store tonight. This is one of two that people probably look forward to the most every year, I'd say.
Mhm. Yeah, not just a good show, I think a great show because we're talking about the brand new 2026 catalog.
Absolutely, yeah. So this catalog was just debuted just about 2 weeks ago at the Amherst Railway Society Railroad Hobby Show in Springfield or West Springfield, Massachusetts. I wasn't actually able to attend this year, but Tyler, you were there. Tell us a little bit about how the show went.
Yeah, so this show was a little bit interesting this year. Of course, being up in West Springfield, where there's always cold weather, threat of some winter weather, and we got an exceptional amount, over a foot. So it definitely impacted the show on Sunday. It was lightly attended then, but Saturday was very well attended, like we've come to expect. So we were glad to get at least one good day out of the show weekend. Great to see all the Bachmann fans and modelers out there get your suggestions and feedback, and show off the new announcements and hand out the catalog.
I heard from various sources that the attendance overall was about the same, maybe just a little bit less than what it is normally. So that Saturday really must have been pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was definitely a very busy day Saturday.
It's an awesome show. Looking forward to hopefully being there back again next year. And if you haven't been to the show, I'm going to say not even if you're in the area, if you're anywhere in the United States and you're a model railroader, you have to make it to that show at some point. It is the most incredible model railroading uh, experience you can have in the U.S.
It really is. We had visitors at the show from all over the U.S. and even outside the U.S. From from Germany, the UK. I'm sure those are the ones I know of for sure. I'm sure there were many others.
Yeah. But yeah, so of course that was where we debuted our catalog for 2026, which by now, many of you may have looked through. If you haven't, we're going to look through everything that's new today. And if you have, we're going to be taking a little bit of a deeper dive into talking about some of the paint scheme announcements and the various new products that we have in store for this year. So I think without further ado, we're going to get started with it.
Yeah,
So,
let's get right into it. I will add real quick that the full catalog is available on our website, bachmantrains.com, to read the digital copy. And we will have print copies available from our website and from your local hobby shop later this month.
yep, I actually just got word that they're ready to ship from the printer now. So they should be here within the next couple of weeks, actually.
Excellent.
But yeah, so what we're going to show here is basically a slimmed down version. We're just going to show the pages with new announcements. Our full catalog is 352 pages this year, so it would take a lot more than the approximately hour of time that we have available now to go through absolutely everything. So we're going to keep to just the stuff that's brand new for the 2026 catalog.
Yeah, and we don't necessarily need to go through everything that has not changed. Like here's a page of Easy Track, here's another page of Easy Track.
I
But
mean, there is a new addition to Easy Track,
there
but
is, yeah.
actually, and I don't have that page because we don't have a photo of it yet. We just had the line listing, so we'll talk about that when we get to that area. But anyway, getting ahead of ourselves here. We're going to go in catalog order, so it's exactly how you'll find it in the order in the catalog, just without the pages in between. So, starting off on the cover here, I'm going to mention briefly this is our American Freedom Train that we announced in our NMRA mid-year announcements in back in August last year. We're not going to talk about that today because there's so much going on with that set that I think it deserves its own stream. We're probably going to do a focus on that set next stream because
Mhm.
there's a lot to talk about with it. But little teaser there, you've got the GS4 locomotive on the cover. So we're going to move right into, let's see, we're going to move right into our very first page here, which is our new Thomas and Friends announcements in HO scale. We've got a few new rolling stock announcements coming this year. One of them being the 20-ton brake van in the Northwestern Railway paint scheme. Now this you'll recognize as it is the brake van that we were planning to use in the 80th anniversary set, which didn't come to fruition. We did see a lot of requests among the Thomas and Friends fandom that there was interest in having this brake van as a new item, since it's not tooling that's previously been used in the Thomas and Friends lines. So we're happy to uh, fulfill those wishes and bring it into the range in the Northwestern Railway Classic Railway Series paint scheme. So that'll be a fun addition, and can always use more brake vans.
Hmm.
We also have the a new addition to our tank car series. We've got the fuel tank in the CGI era paint scheme, which has the fuel canister and the warning symbols on it. It's something we've had in large scale before, and I believe we have this in our N scale line. I should probably know this.
Hmm. It
Um,
is one of the ones we have in N scale, and we have, of course, the classic soda fuel tank car in HO scale. But this is the first time we're offering it with the CGI era graphics.
yeah, and we're not getting rid of the classic. We're actually going to have these both in the line at the same time, so you can mix and match them if you like. And then a little bit of an oddball, but one that we thought was a good addition for kind of continuing the celebrations of now this year being the 80th anniversary of Thomas's introduction to the Railway series. The This is the Farquhar Quarry Wagon in a paint scheme that's as best as we could adapt from the actual original illustrations from the Railway series.
Hmm. Yeah, this
Um,
was a nice little something different to do, kind of following along the lines of the China clay wagon up on that page, which we announced previously. Uh, so we wanted to we offered a little bit of something for everybody here. You have your railway series, all the way up to the CGI series.
yep, it's and of course it's also being joined. I don't have it on the page here, but by our Flying Scotsman model, which we know is very highly anticipated as well, which was announced back in August last year as well.
Hmm.
So moving on into train sets, this is going to be a little bit of an oddball to show because it's split up between two pages here. But we've got the Grand Canyon Railway joining our HO scale train set range. I'll show the second page there so you can see the rest of the consist. Comes with the 280 locomotive based on number 29, which is at the one of the locomotives that operates at the Grand Canyon Railway. Um, a funny little um, just a coincidence with that is they're actually bringing that locomotive back into service this year, so it's going to be pretty highly featured in the real railroad, and kind of nice timing that we're able to bring this set to fruition at the same time. Um, so the Grand Canyon Railway, for anybody who's not familiar with it, is it's a tourist railroad. It's the former Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe railroads line to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. It ran as a common carrier, freight and passenger railroad, predominantly passenger for the later years, transporting people to the Grand Canyon right up until I believe it was in the 60s or 70s. And then it was transformed into a tourist railroad, which has been highly successful. It's been operating for about 30 years now, and probably one of the most um, highly trafficked passenger tourist railroads in the U.S.
Yeah, it really is. I have not ridden the Grand Canyon Railway myself. I did visit the Grand Canyon a couple years back and got to see the concerts parked at the station there. And Grand Canyon is just a beautiful place. It's a beautiful train, and it's very very cool to be bringing this set into our line. This is done under license from the Grand Canyon Railway, and they
Mhm.
were able to provide us with their official logos and graphics so that we can make it as accurate as possible.
Yep, and the artwork is all fully approved by the railroad's mechanical team as well.
Mhm.
Um, And yeah, actually, I actually did ride the Grand Canyon Railway about, oh goodness, 15 years ago.
Yeah. And you didn't invite
Some,
me.
what's that?
You didn't invite me.
I didn't know you 15 years ago.
Your loss.
But yeah, it was a very it was a cool experience. Didn't get to ride on Steam or right behind Steam when I was there. They were operating their F40s, which are their primary diesel power that they use. But just an amazing experience. Scenery is absolutely incredible. It definitely gives you the full Western experience when you ride the train. They do some things like they have a fake train robbery and stuff to make the journey a little more entertaining. For those of you riding the train who aren't enamored in trains and rail travel on as their primary reason for riding it. Um, but yeah, very cool. Definitely recommend it. Um, Got to get back there when they have for a day when they're running Steam. So
Yeah.
yeah, so with that, we're going to be offering two cars in the set alongside the locomotive. It's going to be the Pullman car, which is actually named Pullman, and then the Max. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, but Max Beigert or Beigert observation car on the end, which are both named after real cars that are on the tourist consist.
Mhm.
And then
We do have one more car that will be available separately, which we'll show in a little bit.
we do, yeah. So moving from train sets into locomotives in HO scale, we've got a couple of new paint schemes coming for the SD40-2. One of them being a more of a reintroduction, but there's a little more to it than that with the CSX. So Tyler, you've told me this is completely reworked from the previous versions offered, right?
It is, yes. So the CSX Bright Future up at the top of the page there. I think we last offered that about 15 years ago as a DCC onboard locomotive, and there were a number of corrections made from the existing artwork sheet as the correct black steps and a number of other smaller changes as well. But always a classic paint scheme. Probably my personal favorite for CSX. So we wanted to bring that into the line and give another option for the CSX modelers out there. And down at the bottom, we have the brand new paint scheme, which is Pan Am Railways. This is our second Pan Am locomotive that we are doing in HO scale. We also have the GP40 arriving in HO scale later this year. But the Pan Am number 605, sublettered for the main central, that was originally a Milwaukee Road unit, I believe. Uh, It's got there's another officially licensed item from Pan Am Brands featuring the authentic Pan Am colors and the classic winged globe logo on the side and the globe logo on the nose.
In addition to this and the GP40, we also have a Pan Am box car that was announced last year that'll be coming into the line in a pretty near future
Mm-hmm.
with our flashing end of train device.
That's correct.
And then in our GP40 locomotive series, we've got this is in our sound value series. We've got one new addition here, which is one of my favorite fallen flag paint schemes, which is the silver and orange Western Pacific scheme.
Yeah, this is another brand new paint scheme that we've never offered on the GP40. I believe we did it on either the GP7 or GP9 before. This is the as delivered version. There's another manufacturer that did recently come out with Western Pacific GP40s in HO, and that manufacturer did a modification to the paint scheme a few years from after its introduction, where they did the black anti-glare on the nose and a couple of other changes from the original paint scheme. So this is the as delivered version. So that'll be another sharp looking model. We also have there the a new road number for the classic modern classic Norfolk Southern thoroughbred paint scheme.
Can't get enough of those. And then in our DCC Ready GP40 series, we have a couple of additions here as well. We've got the, by popular demand, we've got the Alaska Railroad in the modern paint scheme, which is the same scheme that you'll find in the McKinley Explorer and Denali Express train sets that recently arrived in stores. Um, so if you don't want a full set, but you want the Alaska locomotive in the current paint scheme, we do now have that as an upcoming item. And then alongside that, Tyler, you want to tell us a little bit about how this next one came about?
Yeah, this is a the other paint scheme up there, of course, is the Illinois Central, the orange and white colors from the 1960s, and this was something that, if you'll recall, about a year and a half ago, we had our customer survey taking interest in road names. We put it out through email and Facebook, saying to all those of you who are subscribed that what road names do you want us to see us do in Bachmann? And Illinois Central was one of the most requested ones. It was something that we had no representation in our product line, surprisingly. So we wanted to make sure that we were listening to those requests. So here we have it, the Illinois Central Jeep 40.
It's a cool looking scheme. Kind of reminds me of the Western Maryland Circuit scheme. Obviously, orange instead of red, but
Yeah,
it's a nice scheme.
yeah.
So moving from locomotives into passenger cars, this is one that everybody probably saw coming. So it may not be a surprise, but exciting nonetheless. And that is the Phase 7 um, Amtrak paint scheme on the Amfleet series. We announced this initially in our N scale Amfleet line, and we showed some pre-production samples of those on our social media pages not that long ago. But we have the HO ones coming now as well, and I'm going to come pivot back to the camera because Tyler actually has some samples of these to show off.
We do. These arrived just last week, not in time for us to get a photo in the catalog, but we do have them here. So they're making their world premiere. So here is one of the two road numbers that we have for the coach class. We did just talk about this last month on the when the N scale samples were revealed, so I'll try not to repeat myself too much. But this is, of course, a bit of a departure from the previous Amtrak paint schemes. You've got the curved various shades of blue divided by the white stripe, and you also have on the ends next to the doors these new colors to determine that identify the class of service. So this green is Amtrak's new color for coach class cars, and they're going to be putting this next to the entrance doors of any passenger car going forward that is painted in Phase 7. That's a coach. You also see there's a much larger ADA accessible symbol on the car. So those are some of the most distinctive changes. We've also got the white and red conspicuity stripes along the bottom. And this is also a new feature to the Phase 7 paint scheme. You have the, hopefully that'll show up on the camera, the class of service on the car on the bottom stripe.
The car type.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite, unfortunately, not quite showing up. We're getting a little bit of, at least on my end, it's your video picture is a little fuzzy, but
Ah, okay.
we'll make sure to
Yeah.
share photos of these online in the coming weeks as well.
Yes. The wonders of technology. Uh, I'll just show real briefly here the other road number. We've got the 82590, the 82601. All these numbers, of course, are cars that have actually been repainted into Phase 7. The plan, of course, is eventually for every car to get the scheme as it gets overhauled. So we've been choosing them based on the ones that have been released for service in the new colors. And in addition to those two coaches, here's one of the other new colors, the light cyan blue for business class.
And then you've
So of
got
course,
the in between as well on all the cars. You can see the little white stripe in the middle, which divides. You've got Amtrak blue and Midnight blue on there as well.
You do, yeah. This is a three shades of blue. And last but not least, we have the cafe car. The cafe car is just using the standard Amtrak blue to identify the class of service. So a little slightly less colorful than the uh, other cars, but still very sharp looking.
Definitely.
Hmm.
And these, of course, all come with interior lighting, fully detailed interiors, and red marker lights too, right?
That's correct.
All right.
Look out for those later this year. Perfect behind your Phase 7 ALC 42s.
Absolutely. All right. So moving through passenger cars here to our 85-foot Bud full dome cars. Tyler mentioned earlier that we're going to have an addition to our Grand Canyon Railway train that you can buy separately, and that is the Fred Harvey Grand Canyon Railway number 8742, which you can see in the middle of the page here. It's one of several ex. I believe there are those are actually ex Great Northern cars that they have. Um, but one of several dome cars that they run in the Grand Canyon Railway consist. It's their highest class of regular service. And on the real cars, I believe you can have things like they have complimentary snacks and really comfortable seats, and just it's an elevated version of the experience. So you can add that to your Grand Canyon Railway train if you wish. And these also, of course, come with fully detailed interiors and interior lighting as well. Then something a little different here for the next one. Moving into freight cars, we're launching a new series called the Workhorse series. And what this is this is a series of cars that are um, not going to be displayed, not going to come as they normally do, looking fresh from the factory, but they're going to be painted and weathered from the factory to look like they've been on the rails for a number of years. And we're actually using exact prototypes, prototype references for the weathering and for the patching that is being applied to these cars. So every car that's in this series is decorated to replicate exactly how that real road number looked in prototype reference imagery. And I do have a sample of the Burlington Northern that we just received that I can show you, which I will pivot over to here. So this is the very first sample we have, and I think this is going to be a cool series because it really replicates how freight cars commonly look today on the railroad. You don't see cars fresh from the factory for more than a couple of runs before they start getting dirt and grime on them and scratches, and then eventually they can get patched, whether they're covering graffiti or covering a road number change or an ownership change. And yeah, so these cars come out of the box looking like they've been on the railroad for a number of years.
Yeah, we decided we wanted to do something a little bit different. From all of our typical freight car offerings, which are nice and shiny and clean, like they're brand new out of the paint shop. Which is great. But for those of you who like your modern railroading, especially you like your cars beat up and dirty, this helps to replicate that. I also want to point out this is kind of a stealth announcement, but this hopper is actually showing off. We made some tooling upgrades to the 100-ton three-bay hopper, which has been in our line for quite some time, and we've made some improvements to it to make it even better. So probably the most noticeable change is that this car is now rides on appropriate 100-ton roller bearing trucks. The cars of this size and type, some of them were built with 70-ton trucks, which was on the model previously from when it was first introduced. But we found that there were many more examples that had the 100-ton trucks, which could carry the full capacity of the car better. So we now have that 100-ton truck, which we first introduced on our Trinity and Air Slide hoppers that we introduced recently. So we went back and said, let's go back and upgrade the 100-ton hopper so that it has the most common trucks as well. So our plan moving forward is for both the Workhorse series hopper cars as well as the non-weathered cars that we have in our line is we will be upgrading and replacing them with those trucks. For those of you who do prefer the 70-ton trucks, we will have them still available in separate sale. And we've made two other changes to that car, three actually, you can count them. Uh, when this car was introduced, and to this day, actually, it comes with it's a very detailed car. It has appropriate NMRA compliant weights. It has the slope sheets for the interior of the car, and it has interior braces. But those were all parts that had to be installed by the modeler. So going forward with this release, and again with the non-weathered cars going forward, the 100-ton bay hopper, 100-ton free bay hopper will come fully assembled and ready to run from the factory.
A lot of good improvements. So,
Yeah.
in addition to the two Bethlehem steel hoppers that we're offering in this series, we're also going to be offering a couple of 40-foot box cars, the CP rail with the Pac-Man logo in green. Got the Frisco in a very beat up ship it on the Frisco scheme, and that's, believe it or not, based on a prototype that did look that rough in reality. And then we've got Milwaukee Road and Norfolk and Western for our Bay Window Caboose series, and those also, as you'll see at the bottom, have some road specific detail to them. The Norfolk and Western has a roof walk and ladders and a different window configuration to the Milwaukee Road, which has appropriate to the era, no roof walk, no end ladders, and again, different windows. So we'll hopefully have samples of those to show in the not too distant future, but we had the hopper today, so we were able to give you an example of what this run of cars is going to look like.
Yeah, just to give a some further context on the era for these cars, I believe the cabooses, the 40-foot box cars, and those are all based on photographs from the mid 1980s, where those cars would have been built in the 1940s and 19 up through the 1960s, and after 20, 30, 40 years of use, they've definitely taken a beating and not gotten a wash in a while. I know the Santa Fe three bay hopper was photographed. The reference photographs we used for that were from I think around 2006 and 2007, and I think the Burlington Northern hopper is from a similar time frame. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Matt.
Yeah, yeah, and those hoppers are still, believe it or not, running around in those paint schemes in maintenance service today with BNSF, often paired together. So those actually make a nice pair.
Yeah, the Santa Fe car in particular, that was a car that was would have been originally used in coal service and was instead being used for MOW service for carrying disused ties that were removed during track work. It's I don't know if you can zoom in on the illustration there, Matt, but it does have a one of the labels that was added to it says tie loading only.
Yep,
So this is showing these cars in their kind of their second life after their initial use.
right. And with the Burlington Northern, that one was also for unit coal trains when they were originally delivered from from the Bethlehem Steel Works. And those ones actually had rotary couplers on them for going into the rotary coal unloaders.
So we're very excited about this series, as you can tell. We'll make sure to share some up close detail photographs as these samples are coming in, so you could really appreciate the level of detail that our team, especially our one of our graphic designers, Helen, she did all the work on getting all those streaks and the patches and the rust showing through the cars. They definitely deserve the close-up treatment, so we'll make sure to share that with you soon.
We will. So staying in freight cars in HO scale, we have a new addition to a new addition. The Trinity 5161 three-bay covered hoppers joined our line last year as we began to start going into having a few more modern era freight cars available in our line. And we've got two new paint scheme additions to join that line this year. So, Tyler, you want to talk about those a little bit? Or actually, I have a sample of this, don't I?
You do, yeah. I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit while you're getting that set. But yeah, we have the Union Pacific as our newest road name, featuring the Building America logo there, as you can see. Uh, you may notice that on the left side of the car, where you would expect it to say UP, it says CMO, and that those reporting marks stand for the Chicago, Minneapolis, and Omaha, which became part of the Chicago Northwestern Railroad, which was in turn acquired by the Union Pacific. And UP uses those reporting marks, I believe, for accounting purposes. It's such a massive railroad, as many of you know, that nearly spans the whole country. They had so many freight cars in their fleet. They had to use reporting marks other than UP to keep track of them all. So they used the otherwise unused CMO reporting mark to keep track of these covered hoppers.
And for us rail fans, it's a nice way to see these fallen flags stay alive, and even if it's just in letter form.
Absolutely.
And just like the initial run of these cars, these come with the 100-ton trucks, same as the trucks that are now being added to the Bethlehem steel hoppers. Come with a really nice amount of detail. You can see under here you've got the separate. Is that that's the brake air canister? I'm terrible with
Yeah,
with the
it's for
technical terms for this stuff.
the brake cylinder. Yeah.
Brake cylinder. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't
Yeah.
think of cylinder. Um, with the piping, you've got the end ladders there and the brake wheel, and you've got a little step. You also have on top here, totally see-through separate walkways as well.
Mm-hmm.
And on the underside, you've got the hopper gates, which are also separate details that have been added. And I know when I've been out trackside, I've seen a ton of these CMO cars, even here in the Mid-Atlantic Northeast. So
Mm-hmm.
these are really appropriate for any modern railroad, anywhere in the United States and Canada.
Yeah. Do you have a question? Are those plastic or black and metal wheels? They are black and metal. We have black and metal wheels on all of our separate sale HO rolling stock.
Yep. Black and metal wheels and body-mounted couplers are the standard for anything that we make at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the new addition to our Trinity 5161 hopper that was announced last year. We also have a new addition to our GATX 4180 air slide hopper, which we brought into the line last year, alongside the Trinity. We don't have a sample for these yet, but you can see down here we have two very bright orange-looking examples, and these are for the Rio Grande, of course. And these are from Tyler. Would this be the late '70s through the late '80s that you would have seen this scheme, or maybe a little bit earlier?
It would have been late '70s. These were cars that were originally owned by Frisco and were acquired by the Rio Grande later on. Rio Grande had many more air slide hoppers, but most of them were gray. This was a series of, I believe, 5 cars that were acquired from the Frisco and got the orange paint job instead. I'll also note on that page it's not brand new, but we do have 2 new road numbers for the Burlington Northern hopper. We sold out of both road numbers from the initial release for Burlington Northern, so there's 2 more, so you can build out your unit train.
Yep, and that's something worth mentioning, of course, for both these and the Trinities is we're offering these in 2 road numbers per car, so you can build a more convincing consist with multiple cars wearing the same paint scheme, just as you'd see in reality.
Absolutely.
And then moving back to our Bethlehem Steel 100-ton hoppers, we're doing adding 1 new paint scheme to our standard non-weathered line of these. And it's a little bit different in that it's not a freight railroad that operates this, but it's actually this is an officially licensed product for with the New York's MTA for the Metro North Railroad. And this is a Metro North Railroad. This is 1329, which is a stone ballast hopper that operated on the Metro North Railroad up until fairly recently. I think this particular car may have been retired, but operated with them recently enough to gain conspicuity striping, as you can see in the picture there, and still is wears a paint scheme that's seen across the maintenance of way fleet that Metro North operates to this day. This is kind of like the Western Maryland you see on the top of the page there. Instead of the coal load, this comes with a ballast load to replicate its use in ballast service.
Yeah, definitely stands out in the crowd with that, with the ballast load plus being blue and not black. Uh, I'll just mention that the Metro North will have all the same improvements that I mentioned on the with the Workhorse hoppers. It has the 100-ton trucks, uh, and it has the factory installed slope sheets and weights and inner bracing, so it's completely ready to run.
Yep. And then if we move along here to boxcars, we've got a new series of cars here, which we introduced this in our NMRA announcements at the in August last year, but we wanted to include them in this because we have some samples to show. And this is our 50-foot sliding door boxcar with the U.S. savings bond schemes. So Tyler, tell us a little bit about the history of these paint schemes and how they came about.
Yeah, so 4 out of the 5 cars, and there is one oddball out in here, which I'll mention when I show it, but these were all, the majority of these were painted up in the late 1960s and early 1970s by the railroad owners who wanted to give back to the U.S. and support the savings bond program. So they would have made contact with the U.S. government and gotten some of these graphics, which they applied to as you'll see, some of them were applied to a regular paint scheme on one side of the car, and other railroads came up with a completely brand new paint scheme. So I'll bring this up and I'll talk about the 50-foot sliding door boxcar in general. Making its return to the line, we first introduced these in the mid 2010s, and they were in production until a few years ago, and now we're bringing them back. This car features opening doors with a detailed simulated wood plank floor. And you also see that this car has the option of having a roof walk, as it would have had when it was first built in the early 1950s. And we also have a option without the roof walk, which were removed starting in the early 1970s as roof walks were outlawed by the Interstate Commerce Commission and the Federal Railroad Administration. But enough about the technical details. Let's talk about these paint schemes. So this is another underrepresented railroad that we wanted to put the spotlight on, and that is the Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac. So you can see here, this is in the RFMP standard blue paint scheme and the silver doors, which they used on cushion load boxcars. And on the right, you have the U.S. Savings Bonds Share and Freedom graphic here with the Liberty Torch as its emblem. I want to give a special recognition and thanks to the Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac Historical Society, which was able to provide us with a really good reference photo to make sure that we could get the paint scheme as accurate as possible. So I want to thank them for that. And as you can see, this is the car that has the roof walk. This is the only car in this release that has it. And the other cars do not have the roof walk. So these are cars, as they would have been in the early 70s when they were removed by the railroad. The RFMP decided not to do that. But anyway, here is the next paint scheme, the Louisville and Nashville. You'll notice here that the this car is uses the same graphic on the right side of the door as the RFMP car, and as far as I can tell, that was just a coincidence. These railroads were, of course, not related directly or owned by the same property. I guess they just had the same idea for the paint scheme, or one inspired the other. But anyway,
Or access to the same
the
graphics.
yeah, the L&N I think does stand out on its own with the yellow lettering. You've got the blue trucks.
Yeah, the blue trucks are a nice. They're a nice feature. I'm a sucker for freight cars with painted trucks. It
Yeah,
makes them look so much more classy.
it really does. And I've got one more of them here, and this is the most unique and probably my favorite paint scheme in this release, maybe yours as well. That's the Northern Pacific version. As you can see here, the NP decided to do something really unique with this car. They gave up their usual colors of brown or green for their box cars, and they did it completely in red, white, and blue. You'll see that the two sides of this car they're actually the same, but because of the way it is painted, it is not identical on both sides. So you've got one blue end to match where it was painted blue on this side of the car here, and then the other end painted red.
I think one of the things that's interesting about that also is the fact that they even changed the colors in their own logo to be red, white, and blue
Oh,
for the paint scheme.
well, I'm sorry to say that is a mistake, Matt. That was an error by the factory. Uh, so where you see the Northern Pacific logo here, that is supposed to be black, and that will
Oh
be
man, okay,
that'll be corrected for production. It does look pretty cool though.
it does. Yeah,
And
they should have done that. It looks nice.
yeah, and you can see here they use the same "Share in Freedom" slogan, but they use this eagle graphic instead, which was another icon of the savings bond program. And that icon was also used by the Reading, which had a large fleet of savings bond boxcars. As you can see here, they just put it on top of their standard yellow and green paint scheme, but I think it still stands out pretty well on the door there.
Yeah, definitely. The eagle's a cool effect.
Yeah. And then we have one more paint scheme in here, and I mentioned this is an odd one out, and that is because this car was not painted until the 1980s, so this came sometime after the other four paint schemes, but Conrail decided they wanted to get in on promoting savings bonds as well. So this is not the exact match for the X72 boxcar, which was the prototype that Conrail chose, but it was close enough of a match, and we wanted to give recognition to another big railroad, so we decided to adapt the Conrail paint scheme for our car. And one of the cool details that not many people may realize about this, you see this very intricate red, white, and blue star pattern going onto the door here, kind of flowing out from the Conrail logo. And this pattern is different on both sides of the car. So I'll flip it around here,
Oh yeah,
and there you have it.
that must have been fun for you to do.
It was, yeah, to find the photographs and make sure they were showing the opposite side of the car, and then to individually place all those stars when planning the artwork out. So there you have the savings bond box cars, another one of our little additions to celebrating the semi quincentennial. So look out for those later this year.
So we're gonna move to tank cars now. And we're actually going back to the same series that I'll just go back here quickly for anyone just joining to the Bethlehem Steel hoppers. Introduced or we will be introducing officially licensed by the MTA Metro North maintenance of way hopper to this series. And alongside that, we're also going to be introducing a Metro North Railroad fire protection maintenance of way single dome tank car. This is based on a prototype that is still in existence today. It operates with the Metro North Railroad for exactly the purpose that you would expect from the name. And can often be found in sidings near some of their more major stations across New York and Connecticut. And will be a nice pairing to the Bethlehem Steelhopper. And of course, both of these will look fantastic sitting in a siding or working on a work train alongside the Metro North SC42 DM Chargers that we're going to be introducing later this year that we announced in our mid-year announcements last year.
Mm-hmm.
And now into our popular 40-foot gondola series. We are offering one new paint scheme in this, and that is our a new addition to our ever popular Christmas North Pole and Southern Railroad with the rapid gift delivery gondola. And Tyler, we don't have a sample of this one yet, do we?
We don't yet.
Okay,
You
that's
can
the end
never,
scale. Well, we won't get ahead of ourselves, but yeah.
yeah, you can never have too much
Um,
Christmas.
what's that?
You can never have too much Christmas, right?
Absolutely not. No. And of
Yeah.
course, Christmas and model railroading have always gone hand in hand from the very early days of the hobby right up through the present day. And then rounding out our HO freight cars and our Metro North Maintenance of Way series, we're also introducing Metro North MNCW 401, which is a bay window caboose. This will go well at the end of your maintenance train for your Metro North commuter railroad layout. And also in cabooses, we do have a couple of new additions to our Bobber Caboose series, which is again another very popular series. We've got the Rio Grande Southern, replicating the Rocky Mountain Railroad in Colorado, and we also have the Strasburg Railroad with the classic Strasburg logo from it's the '80s logo, isn't it?
I think that logo actually exists as far back as the '60s when they first began tourist railroad service. It's known as the egg logo to rail fans because it's
And then,
somewhat
what era would this of the railroad would this car be from in this paint scheme?
it's from the I believe the '70s into the '80s, so it would go along perfectly with the 44 tonner, the number 33.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're on this page, also, I will note we do have a sample to show for the East Broadtop number 27, which you'll see in the middle of the page there. That's our second East Broadtop caboose that we've released in our old-time Bobber Caboose series. The first one being East Broadtop 28, which you can see on the line above that in brown. That was painted in the prototypical scheme that cabooses on the East Broadtop Railroad would have worn back in the common carrier years. And this version is based on the scheme that they are have worn in the preservation era. So I'll just
Mm-hmm.
bring that up on the camera here. This is a box sample too, which means these aren't too far out from arriving.
Yeah, they'll be arriving very soon.
A nice vibrant scheme, and of course the iconic East Broadtop acorn logo right there in the middle. It'll go well with your East Broadtop Railroad passenger train if you've purchased our East Broadtop locomotive and old-time passenger cars that we also have available in HO scale. Now moving on to HON 30, we have a couple of additions to our Welsh narrow gauge series that we've been growing. First one being Talyllyn, the Talyllyn Railway's namesake, or not namesake, namesake locomotive, I guess is an okay term for it. And this is the blue scheme, or the Great Eastern Railway blue scheme is what they officially call it, which was introduced on the prototype. It's not a historic scheme, but a scheme that it's actually wearing today that was developed and painted in 2024. Right around the time that we were putting the paint schemes together to announce this model, we were given the news that the real locomotive was getting an all new scheme. So
Mm-hmm.
it only made sense for us to introduce this at our next available opportunity, which is now.
Yeah. Yep. It's going good to be adding it to the range now. You can have all four colors that locomotive has worn. We will be restocking the three existing paint schemes in addition to introducing this one.
Yeah, they've all done very well. They've been very well received, so we're happy to keep it going. And then in our freight rolling stock for Welsh narrow gauge, we've got another edition for our Festiniog series. It started last year with our narrow gauge coal wagon, which we'd offered in two road numbers. We're now expanding that to include the gunpowder wagon, which is always a popular wagon style for Welsh narrow gauge modelers. We've got two schemes from different eras in the Festiniog Railway's history. We've got Festiniog Cement number 16. This is a scheme that the car wore in the very early days of preservation, when it was being used actually to haul cement and stone products for the restoration and rebuilding of the railway. And the Curtis and Harvey gunpowder scheme that it wears today, when it's used in, it's now used for photo freights and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really nice eye-catching scheme as well.
Yeah.
And so now moving into N scale, got a couple of new additions to our Thomas and Friends range. We are still working on Henry and the Diesel and Paxton models, which we'll have some updates on soon. But in the meantime, we are announcing several new pieces of rolling stock. We're introducing the Mr. Jolly's Chocolate Factory box fan, which is first made in large scale, or first made in HO scale, and then large scale. I can't remember which way it was, but it was available in large scale and in HO scale. It still is, and will now be available in N scale as well. It's one that we know the fans are. It's very popular with the fans, being a kind of an iconic railway series, or not railway series, pre-CGI paint scheme, model era paint scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also offering the open wagon in a new light blue scheme as well, which again has been offered in HO scale before.
Yeah. While we're on that page, I'll also mention if you were at the Amherst show in West Springfield, you may have gotten a glimpse at the some of the other upcoming rolling stock on that page: the express coaches, the Sodar scrap wagon, and the red open wagon. So we'll have some. If they're not already up on the website, I'm not sure if they've been put up yet. We'll have some photos of those to show soon as well.
Yeah, and just for any Thomas fans watching, we are planning on doing a Thomas Wednesday this week with Train World, and that'll be, I believe, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. So we will be going over in detail some of those new N-scale models that we have samples for now in that show. So moving to N-scale steam locomotives, we've got a couple of additions for our Prairie 262. I really like this Sioux Line one. I'm a fan of any locomotive that has some paint scheme differences on the boiler in different areas, and this has a really nice, kind of looks like an aqua greenish blue scheme on the boiler there.
Yeah, it's a Russia iron boiler, which is kind of tricky sometimes to depict in artwork. But once we have the sample of it, I think people will be pleased with how it looks. It also has the very early version of the Sioux Line Hero logo on the tender as well. That was a fun one to do.
Yeah, it's a nice one. And then the Wabash one, you got your standard locomotive black, just a all-around classic-looking mid-20th century steam locomotive there.
Yeah, I want to mention real briefly the N-Scale 262 and the 060, which uses the same chassis. That's another one that we've quietly been doing some tooling improvements on. I actually have a engineering sample that we received a while back, and our engineering team made some improvements to this model. They've put a new smaller motor into it that will have improved performance, and the appearance has improved as well, because as you can see, the motor no longer is visible in the cab. So that's a big appearance improvement. It'll also have a detailed uh, cast in detail on the back head, and we have a new cover on the dome here to cover up where there would be a screw head here normally. So that is another change that we're making going forward in production to the N scale 262 and 060, which we've had in our line a long time, and always looking to make them better. Make them better.
I did just notice a comment that the Wabash does not have a smokestack on it, which is absolutely right in this artwork. It looks like that might have been an artwork error in the catalog here. So rest,
Yeah.
rest assured, the actual model will indeed have a smokestack.
Yes.
Let's move on to diesel locomotives now into our GP40 series. I did see a comment earlier saying no Canadian locomotives yet. Well, we've got a Canadian locomotive of sorts here, which is our very first CPKC locomotive. This is a we were looking for paint schemes, or we were looking for options to bring the CPKC paint scheme into our line, being the newest Class One railroad of sorts in the United States and Canada. And we were fortunate enough to find that 2843 was painted in the CPKC scheme. Really, it must have been months or weeks before we finalized the paintwork for the model.
Hmm.
Up until that point, the only road switchers that we could find were GP38s.
Yeah, this is a. It was very fortuitous that we wanted to get CPKC in there, and the opportunity presented itself. So this is one of the very first CPKC locomotives available in all of N scale. It's definitely the first GP40. So that was a nice little brand new paint scheme for us, and I think there's a very good chance that we'll be offering an HO scale as well in the near future.
I do want to apologize for the background sound. Got a I've got a 3-year-old and a 3-week old in the house, so
Oh.
things are a little chaotic.
Mhm.
Um, then we also have Western Maryland. That's a return, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? But with improvements.
It is returning to the GP40. This is the first time that we've offered it with sound, DCC and sound.
And the artwork has been updated as well, correct?
Yeah, there have been a few small changes.
And just like all of our sound value marked locomotives now in all scales, this has soundtracks as economy decoder rather than our previous sound value decoders. So
Mhm.
offers a little bit more to it than what they used to have.
Yeah, that's correct.
Then in our standard DC GP40 series, we've got a couple of new additions. A new addition and another rework, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's Santa Fe 2964, which was the only GP40 that the Santa Fe rostered, right?
That is correct. And it was a former Toledo, Peoria, and Western unit that they acquired when they got that railroad. We did have the Santa Fe paint scheme in the line for a while, but not with the correct road number. So we did make sure we made sure to do that for this new release, and some general updates and improvements to the War Bonnet paint scheme. And right next to that, we have the Missouri, Kansas, Texas MKT green and yellow, which we did have in the last production run. We're offering it for the first time as the non-dynamic brake variation.
Moving on to freight cars. We've got one new addition to our USRA 55-ton 2-bay hopper, which is the Virginian paint scheme there. Another
Mm-hmm.
railroad that I would say was also fairly underrepresented in our line, so a nice one to add.
It is. Here's a sample of it right here.
Just bring that up. and these were famous for being found on very long unit trains coming out of
Mhm.
the mountains of West Virginia with what do you call it? Mallees pulling them and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I'm also just putting it out there. I'm also running on little sleep because having a 3 week old. So if I sound like I'm a little out there today, that's why.
Yeah, we're
Um,
nearly there. The finish line is in sight.
yes. All right. So moving into tank cars, we have a new paint scheme for our ACF 36 foot 6 inch 10,000 gallon single dome tank car. And that's Warren Petroleum down at the bottom there.
Mhm.
Nice.
Thanks, we've had an HO, now bringing it to N scale.
Yep. And then in our 40-foot gondola series, we have a couple of new additions here. And these ones are the ones that you do have samples for.
I do.
So I will bring it back over to you here.
Yeah, here's the first paint scheme. This is the Louisville and Nashville traction motor car. Unlike the other cars on that page, this one does not come with a load. It would be a little weird for us to have a car that says it's only for traction motors and then has a coal load in it. So that will come without the load, but nice looking car. Very distinct looking. Got the L&N blue and then the orange, which they used for company service cars. We're also bringing this car to HO as a track cleaning car, so look out for that later this year as well.
I'm going to put out a
And then,
challenge to the modelers watching. If anybody's into 3D printing, we'd love to see an actual traction motor 3D printed and added as a load into that car.
Mhm. and then we have a car that does have a load, and that is the North Pole and Southern Christmas car with the genuine North Pole snowball load on board.
With yeah, a nice load of snowballs there. I wonder how many
Mhm.
snowballs that would be. Um,
Uh,
Millions.
1 million snowballs.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yep. Nice, classy looking Christmas car.
absolutely.
Let's see. Let's go back over to the catalog here. This is a another introduction that we made a couple of years ago, which is our 55-foot steel coil car with removable hoods and actual steel, not actual steel, but actual steel coil loads.
Mhm.
If they were actual steel, the car would probably be a little too heavy to for an N-scale locomotive to pull. Um, but this is we've got two new paint schemes for that. When we announced this, we offered two different hood styles with a more modern rounded hood and a more classic angled hood from the roughly the 60s, 70s era. This new release of paint schemes has one of each, right?
Yep, we have the Union Pacific with the routed hoods for modern era modelers, and for those of you who are doing more late '60s, '70s, second generation, we have the Baltimore and Ohio uh, angled hood version. The B&O one, that was another fun one to do, and I think one of my favorites of our coil cars. I like that it has the one hood that says B&O, the other says that cushion coil car. For some reason, it's whenever you have a car that says what it is on the side of it, that's I don't know, it's kind of neat.
Definitely, yeah.
I guess that was the railroad's question answer to if people were watching it rolling by and saying, "What the heck is that thing?" It's a cushion coil car, obviously.
Obviously.
Hmm.
So moving to cabooses. I'm pretty excited about both of these, even though I'm not an N scaler myself. These are both really cool additions. Got chassis system, and then we've got Union Pacific maintenance of way for our Northeast Steel caboose. And I didn't even know until a couple of years ago that Union Pacific even had a Northeast Steel caboose.
Yeah, I think that's it's not what anybody would kind of associate with that railroad. But this was a originally this specific prototype was originally built for the Lehigh Valley, and it was later purchased secondhand by the Chicago and Northwestern. and it remained in service in UP as a maintenance of way crew car.
And
So
in
it's
fact, yeah, and it's even in service with UP still to this day. There are photos of it online from 2025 in service.
yeah, that would
So
make it about 95 years old, I think, at this point.
yeah, it's a really holding on there.
Yeah. So not only that, it's got the so you've got the green MOW colors. It also has an Operation Lifesaver logo on there, as if that wasn't unique enough. You'll see there that there's a couple windows that are blanked out, which we will be replicating on our model by painting over those windows. Uh, and we also have marked there on the right is a new road number for that paint scheme, and you have the chassis system as another brand new paint scheme.
Yep, one of the all time great paint schemes in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So in Easy Track, and we actually we glossed over the HO scale Easy Track edition, so we can lump that in here as well. But we are introducing a oxide red version of our Easy Track truss bridge in N scale. And in HO, you want to tell us a little bit about the new HO track piece? It's not a huge deal announcement, but I think it's gonna make um, layout construction a lot easier for some people.
Yeah, we will be adding a 18-inch straight track piece for both the steel alloy and nickel silver track lines. That is twice the length of the basic 9-inch piece that we include in all our train sets, and is kind of the most basic, straight piece of track we make. So if you've got a straightaway that's a little longer for one piece of track, but not so long that you need our existing 36-inch piece. You got something right in the middle. I will also mention one other new piece we're working on for N scale is a 5-inch straight terminal rerailer track. So giving you another option there for hooking in your power to your Easy Track system in N scale.
Very cool. All right, and now into our final train category for these announcements. We've got some new announcements for our Thomas and Friends line in large scale, which is G scale. Um, in this, we have you see we've got two new additions to our box fan series, which were very popular in HO when they were introduced in HO last year. And that's Funfair Blue and Funfair Red, and
Mhm.
we've got the Tidmouth Milk Tanker joining as well, which is the CGI era iteration of the classic milk tank that we also are introducing in HO. And then, all right, and
For
then in as you can tell, there's I apologize for the background noise.
Yeah,
Um, then in our animated stock car series, Tyler, you want to talk about these ones a little bit? I'm going to put myself on mute.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, we here's the our two new paint schemes for the animated stock car. It's of course a little bit of fantasy. You wouldn't really see the animal heads bobbing in and out on the prototype, but you got to have a little bit of fun with it in model railroading. So we've got two new paint schemes. We have the Pennsylvania Railroad with the cattle heads, and the Southern Pacific with the horses bobbing in and out. Uh, Works without electrical power. You can use it on any large scale railroad, no matter what your control system or track is. It just bobs in and out in gravity.
And then our final new announcements for this catalog is in our Scenescape series. And Tyler, again, I'm gonna hand it over to you for this.
Yeah, so the we are expanding the Scenescapes line, which we've of course had for many years, with all the great products you can find there: grass mats, trees, foliage, our figures in HO and O scale, and now we're adding some new scenic accessories that allow you to build different kinds of scenery on your layout. We've got some tunnel portals, which are brand new additions to our line. This is a concrete style concrete block style accessory. We have single track and double track options. Comes with two per pack, so you can build both ends of the tunnel. And we also have retaining walls that will be designed and finished to match. So if you have a tunnel, the earth there. We also have some rock outcroppings and rocks for building your rocky scenery. Plaster cloth, which if you've been watching or building a layout series on YouTube, you saw us using some of that to build the mountains and hilltops, and now we're offering it in our own lines so that you can get it direct from Bachmann to use on your layout. And then, as you can see at the bottom, we have just some representative images of what you can do with these products, but we're offering a realistic resin water kit, add-on water effects, and thick model glue for gluing down trees and foliage and figures, whatever else you may need for on your layout.
I will add that the actual product title for water effects will be it's actually realistic water details. So when it
Mhm.
comes to market, it will be listed under that name.
There you have it.
Um, yeah, that's pretty much it for our catalog for this year. We're 33 pages in, so thank you
Yeah.
to everybody who's stuck around this far to
Hmm.
see what we have to offer. And
Yeah.
this won't be it for this year. We will of course have our mid-year announcements later on this year. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's our 2026 catalog additions. So
Yeah. Of course, that's just the additions. As we mentioned earlier, this is a complete 352-page catalog. We had some questions about what's in the catalog and what's in the line currently. So everything you will see when you're looking through the catalog, it is either in stock or on pre-order or will be restocked, but is basically what we're offering to sale to our retailers and to the customers for 2026. So make sure to check in at bachmanntrains.com or at your local hobby shop for what's in stock and readily available. Uh, we recommend going directly to the hobby shop and supporting them. You'll get the best pricing, and you'll be able to place a pre-order if there's anything that you saw, whether it's a new announcement or just something that's not available in stock yet. You'll be able to place a pre-order and be guaranteed that you'll be able to purchase that product.
mhm. All right, we're gonna do a quick Q&A here because we know we're running a little long here. But we're going to try and get through some of these questions that we've been seeing popping up. So I'll take the top. You take from the bottom. Tyler.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was muted there. Yes, let's do it. Uh, we have somebody who made a good point here for the large scale Tidmouth milk tanker. Will it have the CGI emblem or the classic Tidmouth milk logo? It will be the classic Tidmouth milk. We did do the CGI before, and that is actually the incorrect photo in the catalog. So thanks for asking that, and we'll make sure to update that on the website.
Unfortunately, when it comes to having 352 pages of catalog, some some things do are bound to go wrong slightly.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Let's see.
Try to get it as close as possible.
Hmm.
Uh, I have a question about if there's any plans to make a Central Pacific coach and Union Pacific combine, old time cars for HO scale. Currently, we only sell the Central Pacific combine and Union Pacific coach. And to answer that question, we did offer those cars in the limited edition transcontinental set that we did back in 2019. So those cars you see in the catalog are intended as the add-on cars to that set. Uh, it's not out of the question that we can bring them back in separate sale. Uh,
Yeah.
but for now, if you can find a transcontinental set secondhand, you'll be able to get those cars that way.
With it being a few years from that set's release, it might be time to start looking into having both cars for both railroads available.
Hmm.
I'm seeing a few questions about whether there are any updates on the N-Scale 460. You will see if you go to our website, our final approved artwork that will be applied to the models is shown on the product listings. And Tyler, I assume, is going to show you a sample right now.
Yes, it was just out of just on the other side of my desk here. So here is one of the engineering samples, which we talked about on the January stream. So if you go back to our channel or our Facebook page, you'll be able to we talk more about in detail about the 460 there.
And I'm seeing a question about whether there's any update on the Lumi scheme for the Via Rail Charger and Siemens Venture cars. No update other than the fact that they are we've received and approved pre-production samples, and we should be receiving production samples in the near future, and they will be available at some point this year. We don't have a specific date yet, but 2026 will be their arrival year. I'm seeing some discussion on our end of train device. So you can get it um, as a standalone truck as well as on the cars. So if you want to have the end of train device on a car that doesn't have it, you can buy the truck set with the end of train device attached to it, all pre-wired and ready to go. That you can then add to the car of your choice, providing it has a compatible um, connection. Also seen some questions about whether there are any updates on the venture cab cars for Amtrak Midwest. Nothing yet. That's obviously something that we may look into doing in the future. And it's good. There's a good chance, considering we've done
Yeah.
the bulk of the consist now.
Hmm.
Um, but seeing as those are have yet to even be delivered to Amtrak Midwest, it's still early days. They're don't want to get
Yeah.
ahead of ourselves.
Hmm.
And also with
Had a
the
question
Sam.
about there's sorry, real quick. Had a question from Harry Wong at Railroad Model Craftsman. Hopefully he's still watching. If there's an update on the San Joaquin's venture cars.
That's just what I was about to answer as well.
Okay, great minds think alike. Yes, we did receive. We did receive the drawings, and we are currently in the process of reviewing them with Siemens. So those are on track to go into tooling in the next couple of months, and we're on track to release them by the end of the year.
I'm looking forward to seeing those ones, even if the railroad
Mhm.
is now operating them as Gold Runner cars. Let's see. Just saw a comment about somebody who worked with the real CMO cars, delivering them to Kellogg's when he worked for Norfolk Southern. That's pretty cool. So going to help the process of making cornflakes.
While we're reviewing the questions, I'll add, as always, if we miss anybody's question, or if you are watching this the replay, you're not watching the stream live. If you have a question, you can always leave a comment on the Facebook post or the YouTube video. or you can email info@bachmanntrains.com, and we will do our best to answer your question.
Well, got a question about the 440. Whether there will be more deliveries of models that have sold out at retailers. If it's still in the catalog, if the paint scheme is in the catalog for 2026, that means that it's still in production and there will be a restock at some point in the near future.
Matt, do you think we are? Do you want to talk at all about the future of Thomas, or is that going to be a Thomas Wednesday discussion?
The future of Thomas.
Yeah.
That's a broad question.
Yes.
Well, let
Well,
me
we
just
can.
put to rest any just before anybody starts panicking. That does not mean that we're getting rid of Thomas or anything like that. That's our Thomas line is going strong and is going to continue to go strong. So that's all I'm going to say for now.
Yeah.
Obviously, that there is a new series coming, and we'll have to see where things go with that. But there's nothing really to talk about right now.
Yeah. Nope. Just that we're aware of it. Now that it's you know now that it's out there publicly, stay tuned.
All right, I think I'm getting to the end of the questions here. I'm going a little faster, so I apologize if I am missing any. We will go back and try and answer as many as we can on social media after the stream is done within the next couple of days. Um, but considering we're running a little bit long now, and I know Tyler, you've got somebody holding the office open for you there.
Hmm.
Um, we can probably, I think we can probably wrap things up here.
I think we can let you try to get some sleep. If
That
you're,
might be that
if,
might be a little much to ask,
yeah, we'll
but
let you log off in any case.
yeah,
So, yeah, thank you all for tuning in. As mentioned, make sure to check out the digital version of the catalog online. Print copies will be available later this month.
yep. We'll see you again next month.
All right.